The book I would like to present you is a book I didn't even know it existed. I found it at the Georgia State Championship 2025 because Tad Rogers, that is a long time seller and tournament director, had it there on sale. I got it immediately because everything that is written by Purdy, it's interesting to me. Why? Because Purdy has a very clear writing style, something I didn't find anywhere else, and is really good in his annotations. Of course, keep in mind that Purdy died in 1979 and of course there were no computers. So now, why I like this book? Because there are all the games that brought him to the world champion level, because he became world champion in correspondence chess in a period in which there were no computers. So he had to do all his analysis. Now, the thing I love also that I found here is, for example, this letter by Napolitano. Napolitano was a very strong chess player in Italy. And I found interesting because the letter is written in French, which means Purdy must have understood French and must have been able to write it. Now, you say, why is such a thing? Because, guys, you must understand this. I can speak French because it's very similar to Italian. But to write it, it's all another thing. Because, like in Italian, the grammar, it's very, very difficult. And so you would write with a lot of mistakes. And so this is a testament, in a sense, to the culture and the knowledge these chess players had. Then here you can see how they transmitted the moves. The guy transmitted the moves with this numeric system, the 23, 33 or 58, 68. And then there is also the move written in Italian, Donna B3, E3 and Torre E8, F8. Now, of course, why do I say it's in Italian? Because in English would be a R, Rook is Torre, otherwise it would be with R, and Donna, it's the name of a queen in Italian, it's a woman, right? But this was very, very interesting. And then, of course, I understood the problem of communication. They were playing like 10 moves a year, not because they were trying, Purdy was trying to make it slow. It's because Australia was out of anywhere. I don't know if it was army ships that went there to get the correspondence. It seems that they were using captain in some cases that would gather all the letters and send them to the other side. So clearly also to create correspondence chess was quite a feat, it seems that Purdy was active in the sense that they had a kind of conference about correspondence chess in 1974 during the Olympiad, the Chess Olympiad, and there are some anecdotes about it. I mean, the book is really, really nice. But I want to show you one game because maybe we have some misconceptions about correspondence chess. And this game is in the chapter when his eyes were open. My eyes are open. What does it mean? That Purdy says, guys, I was Australia champion few times. Then I have this young friend of mine, young in the sense that they were friends when they were in college. Now the guy is a professor. And he challenged me to correspondence chess. And I get toasted like a baby, and that's impossible. Why? Because I mean, I know the guy is not strong as me over the board. And here another interesting thing is the following. It tells you use the word across the board. Across the board to mean over the board, what we use OTB today. So also that is kind of interesting because we see the English language, how it changed geographically and historically. But however, he was impressed by the fact that he would have never be beaten by that guy over the board, and in correspondence chess he couldn't keep it together. So he understood correspondence chess was amazing. And as you can see, today we cannot really play correspondence chess. Why? Because it would have been used a computer, right? So what's the exercise of using a computer? What do you actually learn? In any case, let's see this game. So this is the chapter, my eyes are open. This is game number 3. Purdy is white, and G.F. Mackintosh, a professor at a university in philosophy, became a correspondence chess player because obviously also in Australia probably the distances were big, there was nobody, so not enough population density to have a chess club, and so this guy was trying to play chess because he loved it. But of course we are in the 1950s probably, or before the 1950s, and there is nothing. No, it's not like today that we have online chess 24 hours a day. Okay, so it seems that probably the game was in 1936, so quite a long time ago, right? Nearly more than 8 years. So Purdy begins with d4. I show the position from the winner side because so you can learn something. I might not agree with all of Purdy comments because I think some things have changed, right? Thanks to the computers. So d4, d5, c4, c6, and e3, knight f6, knight c3, and bishop b5. Now this comes as a comment that is very funny for me because he says, no doubt better is pawn e6, intending the Meran variation. However, the text move is playable. Now, I think there is a Grandmaster Krasenkov that made this a course on ChessBase with e6, and I wrote a review about it. But honestly, I find myself kind of claustrophobic when I play that. I really find myself claustrophobic. And so I prefer moves like this. But at the same time, I know that this move creates a weakness here. And so I know that I understand what he says. But if you have to play this, you really have to be able to fight for the center and break through with the right pawn lever at the right moment. And so it's not very easy, I believe. In any case, so bishop f5 was played. And how did Purdy continue? He continued with c takes d5. Now, black plays knight takes d5, but it seems it was better to play this because it was part of the Alekhine Capablanca New York 1924 game. And here it says that black has a kind of deficit. Why? Because after that, if you play this, it makes sense, right? You attack, you develop, and you attack. And so it seems Capablanca played this, the least evil. And here he says black has a serious deficit in development, though Capablanca succeeded in drawing. Okay, so let's return to our thing here, right? So c takes d5, knight takes d5, and here there is an interesting move, or kind of strange. So what do you think is the best move for white? Because obviously you need to ask yourself that. The best, Purdy says, is this. It makes sense. You want to bring out the bishop. However, in the game, he played knight g e2, and he said, an experiment which black counters very ingeniously. So what does black play here? Black played queen a5, okay? And here it's interesting because he says the strategical objective of this is the move e5, freeing himself in the center. The tactical threat is to win by knight b4, because you have knight d3 or knight c2, right? Obviously white cannot play this because of this, he says. And there is an additional threat, right? So you play this, let's say that you try to do this, this is checkmate, okay? So you must be very, very careful. So probably he says, and this is why there are all these probably, maybe, I don't know, because this is written by Purdy in maybe the 1970s or the 60s, and there was no computer to help them to find the so-called truth. Notice also that the truth of Stockfish 3 is not the truth of Stockfish 10 or the truth of Stockfish 16. So many analyses also made by the computers have totally changed over the years. Be careful about that. So instead of queen a5, he thinks maybe this was better. I don't know. Let's see. So what did white play? He played a very interesting thing, which is f3. Here he says the obvious move, but not sufficiently far-seeing for correspondence chess. White should have prevented black's e5. So how does he prevent that? It's here there is queen b3. And here he gives a line up to move 10. So imagine just 3 moves, okay? He's able to calculate 3 moves in correspondence chess. In any case, after f3, there is a very interesting move. Why? Because would you play it? I don't know. The move is e5. And this is based on deep calculation. So it means this G.F. Mackintosh, this philosophy professor, had his own opening repertoire and his own analysis. How did Purdy continue? e4. Kind of interesting, right? Because he let this get in fork. So this is why the move is good, not because you take this, but because you get fork after. E takes d4, queen takes d4, and now there is knight b4, threatening check here and getting the queen, right, or the rook. So what do you play? He played queen d1. And now there is an amazing move, an amazing move. So what would you play if you were black? Now guys, I give you spoiler alert, don't think to say this, because otherwise you are not playing master level chess. It's obviously something stronger. So black played knight 8, a6, boom. Here it says white had counted on black's having to save his bishop, which would give white time to organize his game. But black finds a way to avoid this. So what happens? E takes f5, rook d8, whoops. And then what do you do? Knight d4, rook takes d4. Can you see it? Can you see it, how amazing it is? Let's see if you can see it, okay? E takes f5, rook d8, knight d4, thinking, haha, I'm okay. Nope. Why is this so great? Because if you play this, obviously, you lose the queen. Check. I don't know what you do. Maybe I say this. Oops. And so, as you can see, here we have the exchange, right? Okay, so let's go back to the game and set up the position as it was, right? Okay, he played knight 8 a6, and so white doesn't take because he's able to see that kind of problem. But yet the move he finds is wrong, at least in that time for that analysis. He thinks that knight g3 might not save the game, and he gives a line. And then there is knight f4, that is the move that he played. Again, we have, obviously, once you have a king in the center and you have a line open, that's what the rooks are for. Boom, right? Here, white defends, black continue to develop his pieces and attack. Notice that if he takes, you cannot take back, otherwise you lose the queen. So you have to do something about it, right? And white plays queen b1. And again, there is a beautiful move by black. The move is knight, oops, come on, knight c5. Why it's a beautiful move? Because, as you can see, this bishop have been empty from quite a few moves, right? Now, again, if you takes, right? Take, and then there is knight c d3, check. And black regains the piece, right? I don't know if you can see it, try to visualize it, because guys, you need to exercise your visualization. Let's see again. E takes f5, bishop takes f4, opening the file, bishop takes f4, knight c d3, check with this. When you play bishop takes d3, knight takes d3, again check. Let's say king f2, knight takes f4, and black has regained the piece with a better position, because his king is not in the center, his pieces are all developed, this rook is still out of the game, right? Okay, so what did white play here? He played knight f d5, trying to close the file. C takes d5, knight takes d5, very nice, because he's attacking twice. But here there is another beautiful move by black. Can you see it, guys? The move is bishop g3. Bang! Black saving clause, which white had missed. Such elementary slips have no place in correspondence chess. So as you can see, playing correspondence chess can help someone to acquire a forma mentis, a mindset to avoid things like this. The problem, however, is that today we would all be too tempted probably to check the engine, right? Because the engine knows. H takes g3. And what do you play now? Rook takes d5. And of course, now it's a mess because if you take on f5, there is castle and black has a winning attack. And I don't know how he's gonna solve this. In any case, he played queen d1. Queen d1. So guys, why is not playing this? I hope you saw it, because you lose the queen. But let's see the thing. Queen d1 is to take it off, so you can actually take the thing, but again, there is an amazing move by black. Try to find it, try to pause the video, because the move is queen b6. And here, obviously, white tries to deflect and bring the queen somewhere else. Where is the problem here? The problem here is that he can give checkmate, right? In a couple of moves. And so white tries to avoid the checkmate at all cost, playing this. But black plays bishop d7. And here I think it will show you why correspondence chess taught these people to analyze very well. Because black sent the following conditional move. Because in the time, since every time you had to wait maybe 1 week or 10 days before to receive the answer of your opponent, they send you some conditional moves, right? He said, if you play e takes d5, I play knight c d3, check. Bishop takes d3. Again, if you don't take and you play this is checkmate, So, or this checkmate. So it's the same. Bishop takes d3. Knight takes d3, check again. King e2, because now the knight is not defended by the rook there. And what do you do as black? As black, you play bishop b5, sorry. Now, obviously, now there is the possible checkmate. So how do you defend? Queen g1, right? But it's still not finished. Knight f2, check. King e1, and now there is, oops, and this will forcing the mate or win the queen, right? So here it says the meticulous care taken by Macintosh to find the most elegant, in this meaning shortest finish, is characteristic of high-class correspondence chess. This is where chess enters the realm of art. Of course, chess masters bring off elegant finishes over the board, but in correspondence chess the same thing is possible for players of lesser cross-board caliber. So I hope you enjoyed this game because it was clearly beautiful. Purdy show us a game in which he lost, also if he was a correspondence world champion, He became later a correspondence world champion because he was amazed by the depth of analysis that his opponent had shown. So I thank you for watching this video. I hope maybe you will be interested in revive correspondence chess with some friends. And why do I say some friends? Because they shouldn't be cheating and picking at the engine. Unfortunately, I think it's a temptation that is very difficult to resist because we want to know if we did the right thing or not. And the engine, strangely, knows always the best move. And the ridiculous thing is the fact that sometimes we don't even understand why that move is good. And it's good because maybe the engine sees something 20 moves later that is actually worth to describe as an advantage. But for a human being, it doesn't make any sense because, as you can see, we are not able to see at more than 3 moves, 4 moves. We are not that good. And I notice that world champion level often, like Fischer, Bronstein, they all calculate 3-4 moves deep, at least, not 2 moves, 4 moves, always 4 moves, because they see something that the other don't. So 4 moves, unfortunately, takes a lot of time, and so you must be very fast. And that's why they become world champion, because their brain is faster than the usual average player. With that said, also their brain grows slow when they become older, and so they cannot do that anymore. And that's the reality of aging. Thank you again. Thank you for watching the video.